22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Black Westchester Presents People Before Politics Radio every Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. on InTheMixRadio.com.
Yes.
I am AJ Woodson, your host, and we got Damon K. Jones, the host in the house.
Yes.
Co-host Robert Baskerville is chilling. He will not be here today, and our scheduled guest, Tamika Covingdale, she both will not be here today. They went to Mike Holt and India's wedding, Mount Vernon firefighter, getting married right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I would be there right now, but we got to do this. So shout out to them. So, and for all y'all that were expecting Tamika Covingdale, she will be on September 11th, 2 days before the primary. So you will get to see her, speak to her.
That's tight.
That's what she wanted. She wanted to do that. So
that's tight.
You'll get to talk to her and ask her questions 2 days before the primary.
When is Michelle coming on? You have to have her
I
on
don't
too.
know. Brother Arthur hasn't scheduled that.
We're waiting.
I've invited them 3 months ago. They didn't get back to me yet. So, I'm not going to keep asking.
Make it happen, Michelle. Make it happen. You can't just have your opponent over here.
Everybody
and you're
has
not
to
coming
come
over.
on.
And if you could, as you can tell on Facebook, if you've seen already, next week we are doing our first ever live debate with all 5 senatorial candidates. Reverend Lorraine, the Mount Vernon nominee, Jamal Bailey, the Bronx Dems nominee, Q English, Dr. Alvin Ponders, and Pamela Hamilton Johnson. They will all be here next week for the first ever Black Westchester People Before Politics debate. It will be live. It will be Facebook Live. We will not be taking calls that day. You can send questions now up to the debate to blackwestchester@gmail.com, and during the debate, you can hit us on Facebook, and we will try to get to all the questions we can. We're very excited about that. This is our first debate that we're doing. So we wanted to give y'all a chance to get to know all the candidates that are running for Senate. Nice. You know what I'm saying? Ask them some questions, find out who they are. Because, real talk, a lot of people are like, they don't know. One, they didn't know there was 5 candidates, one. And 2, 4 of them are from the Bronx. So the Mount Vernon don't know much about them. So, Lorraine's been there for a minute. But we're going to give you a chance to know all 5 of them. And that's going to be next week, Sunday, August 28th, 6 to 8. Definitely mark your calendars. Make sure you come. Gonna have Brenda Crump playing timekeeper, and she don't play. She'll be beeping you real quick, and I control the microphone, so if you keep talking, I'm just gonna turn you off. But we're looking forward to that. So we got a couple of guests in the house. First, we have my man, Mr. Stop and Shake, Hector Santiago, holding it down in Yonkers, bringing Stop and Shake to Mount Vernon. We're gonna talk about that. Talk about, what's going on in the Latino community, because we don't get to represent that enough.
Yes.
And we have the one and only.
Firecracker.
Helena Edwards. You've seen her on Facebook.
Yes, hello.
You've read her rants. You've read her rant or two.
Oh, wait, you got to give a round of applause. First time on the show. First time on the show.
Yeah.
First time on the show.
Yes, no doubt. And we setting it off. I think we got another guest. Is he here? Is he coming?
I don't know where yet.
We got another guest coming. We'll announce him when he walks through the door. Friend of the show. Definitely not shy.
He says he's parking.
Oh, he's parking. He's coming in. It's about to go down. I suggest you tune in now. Get your popcorn and take some notes because it's about to go down.
Well, let me just say hello. Take this opportunity to say hello to my Caribbean posse.
Yes.
Jamaicans, the Bajans, the Trinidadians, the Vincentians, the Guyanese. Listen, we in the house today.
No doubt. And Jamaica did pretty good in the Olympics. Jamaica was holding it down, man.
We have the fastest man in the Caribbean.
Look who stepped in.
Man.
The Notorious.
So we got the Notorious. The Notorious SAM. that would be Samuel L. Rivers for all of y'all. Yes. So I'm expecting the mics to be on fire. You know what I'm saying? I have to have the firefighter come down, spray down the mics after we finish here.
First, before we get started, definitely we have to send, being black media, we definitely have to send our condolences to the family of George Curry,
absolutely,
who was always the face of black media advocacy, and the need for more black media in the United States and the importance of black media. He died. He was, I believe, he was 69 years old, and you could check out an article we have on the website, and actually one of the last interviews that he was on. Is posted in the article, so I think that's a loss. That's a great loss to black entertainment and black media and what black media actually meant. Being black media, I think it was he was definitely an example, that one of the examples that we tried to follow in giving news. And I didn't know that the resurgence of Essence magazine. That he was, Emerge. He was trying to make the Emerge a political magazine.
They were making some noise from it. They were holding it down.
He was just on that cusp and bringing Emerge magazine back and actually making it a political magazine for black and brown people in America.
Now you're making me think that his death might be
suspicious.
Now,
there you go.
Let's not go into that theory.
Well, you know what? You know what? Since we're on it, look what they're doing to Nate Parker. Now that the Nat Turner movie is about to come out, they're dropping a rape charge that he was acquitted on years ago. He was acquitted.
And the rape, yes.
And now they're putting it out there so people, will get emotional and boycott a very important movie about a very important person in black history. He's been in blockbuster movies and they never talked about his rape.
Well, they say they never went after Martin Luther King until he started talking
about
Okay.
Well, yeah. When you talking about loving, then when you talking about political power, it becomes different.
Yeah, because if you're in that faction and you're in your little hole where you don't have a whole lot of influence and whole lot of people, it's okay, you can be controlled. But when you start branching out into the Pan-Africanism, when you start trying to bring people together, groups of people, West Indians, Americans, from all over,
the black diaspora,
now you got problems. So just remember, if you see like I have any suspicious debt tomorrow or anytime in the future.
It was because she was on this show.
Look, they haven't got to me yet. So I think you're all right. Yeah, I think you're all right. They haven't got to me yet with this show.
Shout to Brenda Crump tuned in. A couple of my Atlanta people, Erica Barker and N. Ali Early, who writes for Rolling Out newspaper, and Andrea Thomas. Thank you for tuning in. And Daryl Vondell Lewis. I think he's from Mount Vernon. Homeboy from Mount Vernon says, salute, fam. Thank y'all for tuning in. Feel free to leave your comments right there under the Facebook Live. Steve Anderson, wow. Shout to him, too. Shout to everybody who's tuning in. So, Damon, I'm going to let you kick it off. You want to start with any particular topic, or you want to just go down the line?
Let's just go down the line because we definitely want to get into what Helena has. That's on your blog, right?
Yeah.
And what is it? Is it straight out of MV or straight out of Mount Vernon?
Straight talk in Mount Vernon.
Okay, straight talk in Mount Vernon. I mean, because we're talking political power, and we're talking how do black and brown people in Westchester, because all politics is local, and throughout the United States, get political power. And one thing that we're seeing is, and I don't know about, I think. Hector, what are you, a Republican, Democrat?
I don't even know no more.
I think that's a great answer.
Okay. Well. See, and this is unique. This is unique. You have a show with 5 people of color, and none of us are Democrats.
Well, hold on now. White is a color. Don't forget that. For some reason, people seem to think that.
Is it really?
It is a color. And the other
really?
thing...
Or is it the absence of color?
It is a color. It is a...
I don't know. I was told it was the absence of color.
But hold on. Since you're going to go there with me,
now
I'm going to take you there.
All teaching's all right.
Right.
So let me just say this, because this is a misnomer. You see, the Supreme Court of the United States, they came up with a definition of what black is. Hispanic has not been defined because they don't really exist. Whites have not been defined. Asians have not been defined. But what is the definition of black? Having 1 drop of black blood.
According to the Supreme Court.
Let's use logic.
According to the Supreme Court.
If we all came out from Africa.
Then we all are black.
Okay.
I mean, I got that.
Okay.
I got that.
So then, what's the problem?
There's no problem. I don't have problems with white folks.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying,
But
white folks probably don't know that they're black. If
No,
they take
no,
the
and
DNA
many of them-
test,
Many
they would find out.
and you are 100% right. Many of them do not understand. And even if you take, let's just take the Supreme Court decision out of this. The oldest person that they could find.
The oldest bones are African. And the second Oriental.
Right,
Chinese.
it's second Oriental. It's a person of color.
Scientists, they posit this theory that they said life began in Africa and then people started moving into West Asia, what you call Europe now. Okay? Now we know that whole thing about how, what you call white supremacy, which is white dominance or white domination, if you want to call it that. We know about the Chinese alchemist who was trying to have immortal life and discovered gunpowder by accident.
Right.
And so whites took it and they weaponized it.
Right.
And once they have it weaponized, they can conquer the whole world. So the only supremacy that white have is in gunpowder. It's not in brain power because we all have that genetics, that connection. We all came from that same source. And this is where black people are confused. And I'm going to take you here, Damon, because today when we have...
She always going to take me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take you.
See, I get this on Facebook, too, so I'm glad the attention is going that way right now. Yeah.
You see, the thing that we have right now today with the debate, with the political debate, and this is always a distraction. You hear, this is a racist, that one is a racist. And as soon as you hear that code word racist, fear.
Oh, you're talking about Donald Trump?
Yes, I am talking about Donald Trump.
Because
nobody is talking about Hillary Clinton. What did Hillary Clinton says?
Right.
Okay, Hillary Clinton says she's a Goldwater girl. Who is Goldwater?
Break it down.
Goldwater in 1964, when the Senate was trying to get the Civil Rights Act passed, Johnson was campaigning against passing the Civil Rights Act to have integration. Okay? He even said that the 1954 Board of Education decision that said segregated schools, he said that it was in violation of the Constitution.
Right.
That the Supreme Court misinterpret the Constitution of the United States. So he was not for that for blacks to be in public spaces with whites and all this kind of thing. So we have to ask Hillary, now what part of Goldwater are you? Are you the Goldwater that does not want to integrate with black? Because that's what I'm thinking she is. She lives in Chappaqua, Westchester.
People
and
saying
I
black.
am sure
Chappaqua is
there
people
is
saying black.
not
And that's
one-
Vanessa Williams' family.
Right.
Okay. Okay. But I am sure there is not one single black person living on Hillary Clinton's block.
And actually, Chappaqua, they're trying to is on the desegregation list, and they are now fighting. I think there's a piece of property or something by the railroad that the NAACP that they're refusing in that whole HUD settlement. I think there's a piece of property that they're trying to.
Chappaqua Crossing.
Yes,
But is that
yes.
a Hillary Clinton platform that she is going to advocate against Astorino so that Chappaqua can have some low-income houses?
And
now, black people have to start
That's right.
thinking.
So going
That's
to,
right.
to I saw that you posted a video of Barry Goldwater earlier on your website.
Exactly.
I'm gonna play that real quick so
and
people
I
are
want
more
people
familiar
to
with.
see exactly what he is and who he is.
Senator Goldwater, we have another question here from some of our listeners. You voted against the Civil Rights Act in 1964. Would you do so today? And what is your position now on the proposed Voting Rights Act?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, if the same two items remained in the bill that caused me to think it unconstitutional at that time remained in any bill today, I would have to vote against it. This isn't something, by the way, that you make a determination on from the standpoint of politics. I have no question that had I voted for that bill, I might have softened some of the Negro opposition to my candidacy, but I'm not foolish enough to think that I would have won over the NAACP. I have to live with myself, and I took an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution, and this was the only civil rights bill in 12 years that I couldn't vote for. But it did contain two items that I thought were unconstitutional. One, the court has now said is constitutional, so I have to abide by the court.
That was it.
AJ, also, Hillary Clinton said that she loves Margaret Sanger. I also posted a video of this black lady who they sterilized because they said that she was stupid and she was would reproduce stupid people, because this is why Margaret Sanger was advocating to have birth control and abortion to kill black people. Because they were stupid, and she did not want to have these stupid people in society. You look immediately after I made a post on Facebook where I said if Hillary Clinton said that she was a prodigy of Hitler, black people would have been up in arms. But when Hillary Clinton says that she's a prodigy of Robert Byrd, she's a prodigy of Woodrow Wilson, who he terminated blacks from the federal jobs, federal employment. Okay, he cleaned the federal agencies of black people. Do we know who Woodrow Wilson really is? This is who Hillary Clinton said that she loves. So how are you going to call Donald Trump racist? He is. I'm not saying that he is not racist, okay? But I am
He's not the only racist in the house.
It's like the pot calling the kettle black.
All are racist, and you have to get with it. You have to understand. So how are you making your decision based on? I'm not voting for him because he's racist, but you're going to vote for another racist? Don't forget Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton,
friends.
best buddy.
But
they
see,
had
but
their
that's-
kids' best friend. You think I'm going to have my kid become best friend with somebody who doesn't share our values? Do you understand? So black people, we need to think. I support Donald Trump. I don't agree with half the things that he say.
Wait. Okay. Now, after
gonna
all
tell
that
you
you
why.
said,
I'm gonna tell you why.
Pump the brake.
No. I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, man.
Why? Because he said he is going to bring jobs into America, back to America. Now, we know in our community, it has been this way since slavery ended, okay? Because blacks were competing now after they got freedom with the Irish, the Polish, the Italians, and all the poor white European immigrants.
The
Okay.
only job Trump is gonna bring is bullet making.
Speaking to your mic too. Pull your mic to you.
I feel like the only jobs Trump is gonna bring is like jobs that are gonna be easier to go to war with. All the war he's gonna create, there's gonna be jobs. We're gonna have to make bullets and
You
bulletproof
think
vests
he's
and
gonna?
helmets.
Do you think he's
But
gonna create?
let
war?
me say something to you.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the history. Let's analyze, because we have a whole lot of fear mongering going on here about bringing wars. Bush, he was a Christian, right? You didn't think when he was going to be elected he was going to start a war, did you?
Right.
You didn't, right? You know where the wars are centered? What causes the war? The wars, every single war that the U.S. have been fighting since 1948 have
Personal
to do
agendas.
with Palestine and Israel.
Yep.
Fact. Every single war since then have to do with that. Trump has made it clear that he is going to let Palestine and Israel take care of their problems. He is going to put America first. So where is the war coming from in that arena?
Yeah, but he also said he's going to go and take all the oil.
Right.
Well,
but not
So that's going to create
Let-
that's going to create more.
He's going to
Whoa,
go in
right.
and take all the oil from who? From the American companies that already
no,
control them?
no.
Who control the oil in Iraq?
Well,
Who
right
control
now, ISIS is controlling most of the oil fields. So he said he's going to go over there. He did say he's going to go over there and take the oil. That's
Okay,
war.
so is that something that Hillary Clinton would not do?
No.
That's consistent
She's going to
with
do
U.S.
the
policy.
no. She's going to do the same
Every country
thing.
that the U.S. has
Hillary's
invaded,
Right.
the U.S. has invaded, and they have taken their resources. This been going on since
See, but
what?
someone like Trump,
1884,
we're fighting
1883,
desegregation right
when
now.
they went in.
Right.
We're fighting
Put
desegregation
your-
as we're talking between
You turn
blacks,
it
Latinos, right? We're fighting it now.
You good, you good.
But let me ask
But
you
even
a
with Donald
question.
Trump, he's anti-woman, he's anti-LGBT.
And then we have. I just
he's
want to say we have a
anti-Muslim.
listener who says, her name is Shay. She says he still has something to do with the disrespect of the well-being of a woman.
Right,
Who?
that's what I'm saying. So
Who?
he's
Trump.
anti-woman.
Yes,
right, look,
yes,
he's anti-woman,
yes,
he's
and I'm-
anti-LGBT,
Okay.
he's anti all these policies, all these people that are part of United States, and he immediately is alienating them,
May
right?
I-
We're already fighting desegregation amongst us. He's just creating different groups that
May
gonna
I
create
address
more
the
hate.
listener, Adrian?
Yes, Shay Thomas.
Shay
Yes.
Thomas. Yes, he is. He is of that male machismo kind of being, But he is not the only one, and this is not an excuse. Black men have this. Hispanic men have this. West Indian men have this. They are macho. It's a sexism.
So how are we gonna
let
condone
me
this?
let me just
We're trying
finish.
to fight it in our own
No,
community.
no.
You want to
Okay,
get a
so let
president
me.
that's gonna bring more
No,
of
no,
it?
no.
I'm trying to teach.
No,
We
no,
gotta
no.
break conditioning
No, no.
and patriarchy.
No,
you
no,
know,
no, you
that's
see-
that's what. Hold on, no,
What
look.
you
'Cause
got-
that's what
this is great.
this is different.
You are listening to People Before Politics Radio.
This is generational.
Real
thing,
talk
right?
for the
This
community.
Is a different generation. Us millennials in this day and age are dealing with these mental abuse things that come from patriarchy, come from conditioning. We don't know how to treat our women because of men like Donald Trump.
Okay, so let me ask
So
you.
if we condone this and have
Let
him a
me
president,
ask you one question.
There
If
goes
you have
Planned
a bucket
Parenthood.
of water, if you have a bucket of water and you have stones in that bucket of water, do you expect to pick up a stone from that bucket of water without that stone having some qualities from that water, having residual? Which man in the United States is not sexist? Who does not believe?
why is that?
Because
It's
this
taught.
it's come exactly, and this is exactly it is taught, and it came out from the Bible. That's where it came from. You do the history, you do the analysis. But I want to go back to the gentleman who talk about Trump and the woman. Let me just
I can't agree with
let
that.
me just say this, AJ, to the gentleman. Yes, Trump is a sexist, and maybe AJ might be a lesser degree of sexist if we're going to go on a hierarchy here, but
So every man is a sexist.
Most men believe. Very few.
Honey, I am
don't
not a
believe
sexist.
that
If you're
they
watching
are
my
not
love, I am
equal.
not a sexist.
that women are.
You got to go home.
Look. Are you a man or you're a mouse? I'm a mouse.
I am a mighty mouse.
Listen, no. You have that machismo, but I wanted to ask you because this is.
I had it till I had my first daughter. Then
That
will
will do something to you.
Right. But Donald Trump got a nice wife and the 2 daughters, right? Or 1 daughter, and it didn't work for him.
Okay,
So
so you are
Said
holding
3
him
wives
on
or
your
4
own
wives.
standard.
I got a few of them.
But you are holding him on your own standard. You're judging him based on because it
No,
worked
no.
for you. You expect
I'm judging him on what he said himself. I'm judging him
But
on
if
his
you're
own
not,
words.
wait. But you say he's judging him on his own standard.
On
Who?
his
Wait.
standard.
So whose standard should he be judging him on?
Trump standards. You have to understand based.
What Trump stand? What if he's raised by a psychopath?
the
You're gonna
culture-
judge him on the
the
standard of a
culture-
psychopath? Oh, you're a good psychopath.
No. The culture that we have within the United States.
It reminds
Listen,
me-
why
yo,
do
my
we
grandma
have?
used to tell me, right? It's okay to talk to yourself, right?
When you start answering,
It's okay to talk to yourself. But if you start hearing voices back, it's a problem. You know what I mean? So
Let me ask you a question.
Please.
Is Bill Clinton has been accused of abusing women, okay? And have you read?
wait.
his
When he was
biography?
accused of abusing women, he was accused of getting head under the table. That's the only thing I know.
No.
He was accused of rape. He was accused of rape.
I don't know about the rape.
I don't know about the rape.
I know he was accused of being out there.
He
Like,
is-
a lot of women came out
He was-
that he was out.
he was
Bill
accused
was a
of
player.
abusive with it. He took care of them,
No,
but he
no.
Yeah,
didn't
right.
take care of Hillary.
Right.
He didn't take care of Hillary, but he took care of them.
That
No,
is
but that's
sexist.
him. Then that's why he got
But
impeached.
that comment that
So
you
you-
just made is sexist.
But in a lot of cultures,
No,
but
but-
no, in a lot of cultures that's not sexist. A lot of men can have as many wives as they can take care of in many countries.
He
No,
said,
I'm just saying,
he
that's
said
not
he
sexist.
took care of them. That's a sexist attitude. To
Why is that
He gave-
sexist? If he took care
How
of,
did he take
How's
care
that
of them?
different? How's that different?
he
than
has
other-
to take care of
How
what they
did
were
he
going to
take-
tell.
How did he take care of them?
How's that
Usually
different?
financially
I
or
don't think
politically.
so.
How's that?
Or
how's that-
whatever.
How's
I
that
mean,
different?
overall,
How's that
he got
different
what he
than
deserved.
how's
He got
that
impeached,
that
right?
different than kings and other countries that are allowed to have as many wives
Okay.
as they can take care of?
Okay, so
How
why
many?
women-
What's the difference?
Why women can't have how many husbands that they can take care
Because
of?
they didn't make the laws.
Yeah,
I'm just saying you.
So
actually
you
listen-
see the sexism, AJ?
The-
You just proved the sexism.
but that's not sexist.
It
I mean,
is.
there's some races. There's a whole bunch
It
of other
is
stuff.
sexism.
The winner,
It's a hierarchy
the winner
that
of the
says
war,
men
the winner
rule.
of the winner of the war writes history in every book, in
Right,
everything.
right.
The
And
Bible
so-
was written by the Christians that took over somebody else. Like in every book you read, the history is written by the winner.
By
Right.
the conqueror.
Yeah, by the conqueror. Yes.
Right. So then he has the power. So when men have the power over women, that means that it's a hierarchy, a structure where men, you are sexist. It's a sexist society.
So how's that make
because
every
men
man
are-
sexist?
You just said because men make the laws. Men
I don't
the
make
rules.
laws though.
But
I
so-
have no power to make no laws. So
Okay,
how does that
but
make me?
But you enjoy the benefits of
She's
it.
generous.
I do.
Okay, and you're happy with
How,
that.
I don't can't have 2 and 3 wives.
She said, "You're happy with that?" Yeah. Listen,
I can't afford the ex-wife I have. I'm just saying.
she's an ex.
What the hell?
Tell me you got nothing to say.
He's
But-
coloring over
but,
here.
but I think you guys.
Says I'm staying away from this one.
I think you
Talk about-
guys. America is a racist society.
Yes.
America
Sam said
is
everyone's
a
right.
racist society. Why is America a racist society?
And that's what we are
As long
challenging
as
right now.
you can't.
But you
It's
can't. I
embedded in
mean,
the
You know
structure
how-
of how we live our
Let
everyday
me
lives,
tell you,
right? There's
when
a
your
lot of
child
things.
was born, what was the first identity your child got?
The first identity?
Uh-huh, the
She
first-
hasn't had no identity yet.
Oh no? Yeah, you name her, right? I'm sure race is on her birth certificate. That's the first identity your child have, and it would be on the death certificate.
See,
so
I don't
how
know
are you
because
going
I don't know if they gave her a race because neither one of us put race down for our information. See, our information,
Oh,
we just
because
put our names.
It's their perception of you. When they see you come in, they say
Right,
you
we
look
didn't
like
fill out a lot.
they might
There's a
say
lot
you
of
look
things
like a
that is,
light-skinned black or
but
maybe
that's
a
what we need to
Hispanic.
inform. That's not a required information. It's just there. You fill it out. You fill it out. But for the birth certificate, we just filled out her name and her weight. You know, and that's a choice that we have to make
When you go
when
home,
you
look and
educate
see,
yourself.
when you go home, look and see if they have it on there.
On mine, yeah, of course. My mom didn't know any better. She did what she had to do, and it's what was done. It's like school. School teaches you how to be a good worker. It doesn't teach people how to be bosses, right? But you send your kids to school. I'm sure you went to school,
Yes.
right?
My school
but you had
didn't
to
teach
break.
me anything
No,
about race.
but your kids
He
go
said
to
good
school.
worker. He said a good worker, not how to be.
Yeah, it
That's what he
teaches
said.
you how to be a worker, not a boss. It
Right.
teaches you how
That's
to
right.
comply and do to be able to sit for 8 hours and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So, and we still send our kids to school, right?
Right.
But these are conditionings that we're not challenging.
Right.
These are things systematically that controls us
But
and
you're
doesn't allow us to
challenging
move
the
to the next level.
symptom. Do you are challenging the
I'm
symptom.
challenging individuals. See, when it comes to me personally, I challenge an individual. Black, white, Hispanic, it's the
Let
person.
me ask you a question. What is the matrix that you have to determine who is racist and who is not? When they speak, is that the matrix? Do you think that's accurate? Because I can hate you,
Right.
and you have no clue about that.
Absolutely.
So this is the point. This is what I'm saying. So what we do in our society, which is racist and infects everyone with that racist, infection, where you feel, okay, I'm Latino, I'm Hispanic, he feels he's black. Listen, all of these are social construct. That means nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's
Right.
based on
Absolutely.
someone's perception.
That's what Stop and Shake
it's
is
not
about.
based on DNA. And the point that we hold on to this stuff means that we are practicing race theory, which makes us racist. If you practice science theory, you are a scientist. So you might not say Helena, black people are scum, because somebody might stop you. You got too many black people sitting in here right now.
But it's all
but
the
try.
it's on the
You
perception
understand?
because
Well,
me
but see, let me
personally-
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So, just listening to everything you said. So we're all victims.
Racist.
That's what you're saying. Everybody's a
Yes,
racist
we
then.
are all,
Because we all grew,
if
we all grew up in
if
this
you-
society, so we're all racist.
If you self-identify as part of a racial group other than a human, you are a racist.
So,
because
are you a racist?
Absolutely not. Why
She
not?
just said everybody's a racist, but why
no,
not
no,
you?
Because I don't self-identify as any race. I self-identify as a human. And this is what is responsible for a lot of problems that we have. Because if I say I'm black, I'm only concerned with black issues. I don't care what's happening with the Hispanics.
So if you're black, you can only concern yourself with black issues.
This is usually how it's pitting one against the other. This
So
is
one of the things
usually
about
how-
Martin Luther King, he was talking about all issues for all people, but he was black though.
Right.
But he was talking about all issues for all
AJ,
people, though.
He was a human. He was not black. Somebody
Oh.
put him, and a white person perception put him into that category. Because don't forget, let's go back on the theory, which is fact. DNA can show that it's fact. These white people who say they're white, call themselves white, they have met the requirement as blacks because they have that one drop of African ancestor. Believe me, if they take their DNA test, did you hear about the guy Craig Cobb?
No.
Do you know who
listen,
Craig Cobb
no.
is? I have a video on him. I can probably go to YouTube and find one. You can play him. Craig Cobb is a white supremacist. He went out Midwest someplace and he bought a little city, a little town that he was going to have just white people. He's against race mixing and all of this. And you know who Shahrazad is?
Yeah.
Shahrazad and some other, there was this show, black show. They brought him on. They had taken his DNA and they did a test. And they found out his test showed that he was 14% sub-Saharan African. And they showed it to him. I'm going to find the video, AJ, and I'm going to post it.
Now,
to you.
now that, but if white people
wanna-
understand that they have some black,
Not
in their-
some, they got
in
more
their-
than the one drop.
in their ancestry, that does not change.
Well, the point
that
is,
does not.
I'm
that's
just
not
trying
the
to show how
attitudes.
stupid it is.
Well, no, it is stupid,
Well,
and I really think the media has gone overboard with this. Stop Donald Trump. And to me, they're both.
Okay.
To me, they're both. They're
so-
both two sides of the same coin.
Right.
At the
So,
at
For
the end of the day.
the makeup of time, I wanted
Right,
Yeah.
I wanted to shift off to you, and I wanted to shift off to what's going on in the Latino community in Westchester,
Alright,
which is
cool.
one of the things
Right.
you was coming to talk. I don't want to, I want to
Right,
move
yeah.
through the issues.
See,
real
I
quick.
wanna talk about the Latino, right? The Latinos and the blacks. See, I come with a whole different lens. I come from a different generation. The way I grew up, it's like my daughter, right? I grew up with beepers. My kids growing up with Androids, right? So they have anything I ask. I tell my daughter, she can go right to the next room and Google it and say, "Daddy, you're lying," because Google said you lying. You know, so they have any answer that they need in their hands, right? So we have to go about things differently in society now. So a lot of the time since I've gotten in this whole political thing, right? Everyone says, "Oh, Hector, you got to speak for the Latinos," or I got politicians coming to me to gather my peeps, quote unquote peeps, and this is what I try to like stop. It's that mentality of my quote unquote peeps, my Latinos, my blacks, right? Because I am a Latino, proud of it. Boricua, eat rice, beans, gandules, chuletas, I love it, right? But I got raised in a predominantly black community, where we all took care of each other, and throughout my life, I worked with Latinos, I worked with Italians, I worked with black in my community who were suffering just like me and going through the same issues I was going through. And maybe this is coming from a different generation, but when I talk about my peoples, I'm talking about the people who are affected systematically, while everybody else is talking about blacks, whites, power. We're talking about hunger, starving, welfare, WIC. We're talking about the things that are affecting all of our people. We're up to the point. I think the bigger issue is classism. Classism is the biggest issue.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I interviewed Pam Grier a long time ago, and she was one of the first black women to get a multi-movie deal.
Beautiful.
Right? And she was like, and we were talking about how hard that was, being black and being a female. And she said once she found out and she got around the right people, she said it wasn't about racism. Right. It was about classism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Once they see that you are, they consider you in their class. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Even when I transitioned my life, that I came from the streets of Yonkers, born and raised, right? And I changed my life. It then definitely became about money, because I can look, but can I go to the same galas that everyone go to? I can't afford those type of tickets. Right. You know what I mean? Or even like in the hood, it's easier to get money for bail than it is to start a business.
Absolutely.
Like
bail bondsman on every corner.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So right now in a different class community, right? They have this amazing idea. They get everybody from the neighborhood and their family. They come together and say, "I need $10,000." So you got everybody, Bob, Sally, and Susie giving $1,000, $50, $100 each, and make your dream come true. But in our community, if we gather up our whole family, first of all, we got to have snacks. We better bring snacks, right? And then when they get there, they're all going to look at us and tell us to get a job. You know what I mean? We don't have that. We don't have that access to money like any other person does. And at this point, it's black, white. Because I'm the brokest man sometimes, but I have a lot of friends with money. To be a broke man, I got a lot of rich friends, right? And they black, they're white, they're Italians. Like, people have made it. But it comes to the point that once you got money, or you get to you have that agenda, it's past race. It's like we're not wearing the same thing. We're not shopping at the same places. Even if you come from the hood, people say, "I want to get out the hood." Instead of rebuilding the hood, staying in the hood.
Most of them take the hood mentality with them where they going.
Right, no matter where they go,
But
so it's like
the way we divide up people, that's the problem. This divide and conquer mentality, and you guys practice that because you're Latino, and you single yourself out as Dominican, as Puerto Rican. Listen, man, you're black. You got 1%, more than 1% African ancestors. Legally and the United States, based on their criteria,
see, I feel like
you are black. So forget that Latino thing. Let's just say we are black. The white people are black. We are black. But beyond that, we're just human.
You know what white people respect too? It's not even a black or white thing. It's ancestry.
Right,
right. Like they can trace back their roots back to the so and so of whatever country.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Is so amazing. Like, you need to know where you came from to know where you're going, right? But society changes, and as society changes, we as humans need to change, right? This is a story that I always tell my students when I do my workshops and stuff. All right, so look, back in the days, there was tribesmen. They used to have these big fires and gather the whole tribe. Everybody come around the tribe, and then the elder of the tribe will show his scars and say, "Look, everybody, nobody walks through this side of the woods because there's a big bear, and if you walk through that side, you're gonna get mauled," right? So for 40 years, nobody walks through that side of the woods because he's showing the scars. He's showing what happens. But 40 years later, one of the kids say, hey, how long do bears live? Because for 40 years, for 40 years, we're not going through here, and we understand why you're saying it. We see the story. But how long do bears live?
So
You know what I'm saying? So you have to
agree.
challenge. Sometimes it's when things are in place, they might be in place because they worked at the time, or it was subtle. But you must challenge that, and that's why through education, if we can educate ourselves, I'm tired of fighting the system because we got internet now. I could look stuff up. I can go to workshops. I can go to seminars. I could connect with my brothers and sisters and get the knowledge I need to get myself to a platform.
Well,
you know
that's
what I mean?
I'm saying. We need to get to that oneness stage. We have to stop dividing ourselves up into these little sub.
Well, that's what you're asking for is never going to happen because black people are not in control.
If you go out,
White people are 1%.
If you go to London,
they don't agree with you.
We are.
They don't agree with you. They don't agree with you, and they write history. So white people are 1%, whatever. They don't agree with you.
No.
So
no.
You're not going to get that right there in the history. They're not writing that in the history books tomorrow.
Because we divide up. If we come together as human beings, and
we
look out for each other,
that sounds good. That sounds good.
But that's culture. That's culture conditioning.
But we can start saying, you forget that you're Latino and say you're human. You, me, Sammy, Damon,
I'm a proud
and
Latino, but I'm for everybody. I'm a Latino, you're black, and it doesn't matter.
I'm not black. I am a human.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. In London, everything other than European is black.
Right.
If you're Indian, if you're Iranian, if you're everything.
But Europeans are black too. Where they came from? They came out of Africa. Please play that thing with that white man.
No, we're not gonna play that. We're gonna continue.
You need to see that.
How long is that?
It's not long.
How long is it? It better not be. No, we're not doing 5 minutes.
We're gonna skip. We're gonna go to something else, and we got time. We're gonna come back to it. I just want to give a couple other people that are tuning in. Frank Trulio said Uncle Frank's in the house. Lat George has left a comment. They prey on the people of this U.S. corporation ignorance or something like that. Benjamin Anderson Jr. asked the question of what we talked about before. If we black people vote for Hillary, what changes is she going to do for us?
Thank you.
Absolutely nothing.
That's what I want to know.
What is Trump going to do?
Jobs.
But wait, but see, stop. But why? But wait.
It's gonna shake up
we have to understand that there is 4 candidates that's running for president.
Right.
It's just not Trump and Hillary.
Right, but my point
you
is
have Jill Stein, you have Gary Johnson.
Absolutely.
And
what is the chance of Jill Scott winning?
Jill Stein?
Yeah.
Jill Stein.
Well, I mean, if we start talking about it,
right.
you know what's crazy? They're just starting to talk about Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, right? Then they say, they're not polling high. Yeah, because for 3 months, y'all was saying the only choice you had was Hillary and Trump. For 3 months on national media, right?
That's powerful. Even during the Republican primary on the way up, all they talked about was
right.
Trump. What the hell
and
Trump
most
did.
of the people,
like, everybody else on that stage became invisible after a certain point. It was only Trump on that stage.
And then it's a setup because they say, okay, if the national media don't talk about you, you can't poll. Right? Because why? Because people don't know who you are. And then they say, well, if you don't get 13% of the polling, you can't participate in the debate. Yes, I do agree with Trump. The system is rigged. The system is rigged even for him being a Republican candidate. Because they're not going to allow Gary Johnson or Jill Stein to participate in the debate. They're not going to allow the vice president candidates, which one of them, Barack, I'm supporting 1,000% because I think he will rip the hell out of every other vice president that he goes up against. But the whole thing is, that's how that system is set up. Even with the presidential primaries in New York, you had over 3 million people couldn't vote because they wasn't Democrat or Republican.
Let me ask you this. Let's identify the things that we need in the black community because people don't seem to know. They can't pinpoint what we need.
Caller, please call back.
Need?
We had a caller. Caller, please call back. I missed the call. Go ahead.
Oh, that might have been Lorraine.
It
Yeah.
disappeared. It
Oh, they
never
disappeared?
popped up,
Okay.
yeah.
What do we need in the black community? Please, let's list those things.
Well, then
that
we need everything.
No.
Just name it.
can't
We need an educational system. We need economic.
We don't have education system.
We need a proper educational
Why
system.
don't we have a proper educational system? Let's
we
discuss
haven't done
that.
nothing about it.
Why don't we have that?
Because we haven't done nothing
Why
about
do-
it.
what-
Because
what
we
you
haven't
mean?
changed the
Explain to me
system.
how do we change it?
We haven't changed
No,
the system.
No. Let me tell you what I think the problem is. Well, not what I think the problem. What I see the problem is. Let's look at the Mount Vernon school system versus the let's say Chappaqua school system. Okay.
That you
Now,
can't compare. You can't
why
compare
can't
that.
you? Why can't you?
You can't
Why?
compare that because Mount Vernon has been historically dumped with
Everybody else
with
is-
people that are needs. And this was in the 1992 report to Andrew O'Rourke, where they already predicted the downfall of school systems like Austin, Peekskill, and Mount Vernon
is
and
segregated,
and
and it's
Yonkers.
set up to fail.
Well, the Westchester County is segregated because they push black people into certain areas to keep them
Okay,
there.
so why do we have these black leaders
That-
that
well,
are
there
in
you
Mount Vernon, and they know that Mount Vernon is set up to fail? Because look, I am a taxpayer, but if I move out of, if I were to move out of Mount Vernon, move into a different neighborhood, okay, I guess whoever buys my
I love
property,
Mount
that
Vernon.
person would have to become the taxpayer.
Right.
But the point that I'm trying to make is this: Mount Vernon's school system, they don't have the resources that Chappaqua has because Mount Vernon got less employed people, less property owners
see,
paying taxes,
but
and the school system operates based on the
Hello?
taxes that are collected.
Hello, caller. Please state your name and your purpose for calling, caller.
How y'all doing? This is Lorraine Lopez. First of all, I want to apologize to you guys for not being there today because I am on baby watch. My second granddaughter is on her way, and I have to be on call 24/7 because, you know, every time there's an itch, she calls. And I want to also take a moment to congratulate Mr. Stop and Shake himself, who is getting ready to go national, international, worldwide for his baby girl. He just had a baby girl this week, by the way. He is just too humble to say it, but you know what? I want to congratulate him. He's a great father to the daughter that he is today, and he is just an excellent role model for the community. But then, you know, I just want to take a minute to say a couple of things. First of all, I am a Republican. I am a proud Republican. I am the chair of the New York State Hispanic Republican Committee. I have taken that role for many years, and I am proud, and I will always be proud to carry that banner. And I also want to say, you know, hello to all the queens out there, but I've got something to say to the lady queen that has got a lot to say out there. First of all, do not disrespect a king in his house, okay? Just like I am a queen, you are a queen, Hector Santiago is a king. And you have just sat there, and I have sat here for an hour listening to your opinion, and this gentleman is telling you, listen, I am from a different millennial. This is my thoughts. This is my struggle. This is what we're going through in our Latino community. And let me say something else. Do not ever say, forget the Latino community. We are all one race, because let me tell you something. I agree with you. We are all one race, but we carry that Latino pride. Okay? And that's what we are trying to instill in the people today. That you know what? Latinos are not sitting down anymore. You know what? We sit there and we watch TV and we gossip about each other and we do this and that. But we never go out there and we don't do any active, you know, we don't advocate for ourselves.
What's the difference between Latino and blacks? Can you tell me that? What is the difference?
Okay, let me tell you something. There is no difference between a Latino and black, because you know what? I have a black son. And I love my black king, okay? There is nothing about see, that is your problem, ma'am. The problem with you, ma'am, is that you don't want to hear nothing, okay? You are stuck somewhere in the 60s, in the 50s, or the 1900s, but we are in a new millennium right now, so grow up and get with the program. That is what I am telling you, okay?
Do not ever
That's your opinion.
You know what?
Can I say, wait, let me stop. Let me say something.
And I won because of classism, not racism.
Can I say something?
Okay?
Can I cut in real quick?
Yes,
So
yes,
what I want to
sir.
say, as the host of the show,
ahead.
first off, that's your opinion.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
wait.
it is.
But just wait.
Just like he is entitled to write her opinion for an hour,
hold
that
on,
is my opinion.
Lorraine. Hold on, Lorraine.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go
No.
ahead.
That is your opinion,
just got
Helena.
me all rattled
And if any
here.
of us don't agree with your opinion, that don't mean we wrong. That just means we don't agree with your opinion.
Absolutely.
I can have an
That's it.
opinion. Right.
That's
But
it.
I'm just saying.
No.
No. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like you told everybody they're racist and all that.
Okay,
I don't
I'm
share
not
the
talking
same
about race.
opinion.
I'm talking about a culture.
Right,
I'm talking about a culture, not a race.
So we have to respect each other's.
The culture.
We
You
have to
said
respect
race.
each other's opinions and keep it moving. That's all.
Yeah, but
Let everybody.
Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm good with that. I am good with that because you know what? I respect her. She is a queen. I respect her for that. Just like I am a queen, and I expect her to respect me for my opinion as well.
Hey, Lorraine. This is Damon.
Yes,
I want to thank you for calling in. You know, I mean.
Okay, baby.
But also, I got to ask you, as a Latino Republican,
Yes.
being in a county that's predominantly Democrat, which they call themselves Democrats. How have you managed? You know, even in Yonkers. I mean, Yonkers has had Republican mayors and Republican elected officials more than some other cities that have a high percentage of people of color. How have you managed throughout the years being a Republican person of color and dealing with the political process?
Okay, first I got to tell you that I started off as a Democrat, and I was discovered by, believe it or not, Ken Jenkins at Whitecap when I was working for Whitecap. And I was also on the board for Whitecap representing the incumbent who was Fernando Fuentes. And Ken and I, after the meetings, we would talk, and and one day he brought someone from the city to to a big board meeting, and I was invited to this meeting. And the gentleman was Steve Weststone, and he turned around and he said, "What is it that you guys can do for Whitecap, the student body?" Because Mercy College was in there too, and I was also the president of that. And he said, "What is it that you guys can do to help improve the corridor of Ashburton Avenue?" And then I turned around and told him, "What is it that the city can do to help improve the corridor of the city of Yonkers for our students?" And he liked that. After the meeting, he ended up offering me a job. I became the very first community organizer for the city of Yonkers. And I worked for West Tap Cluster, about 11 different congregations, all in one. And I was a community organizer, and I started working in Southwest Yonkers. And, there's this video out there talking about, some officers that took some time to play some basketball with some inner city kids. Well, there was this black officer. He was the captain of community services, and he was the very first one to close Elliott Avenue, which was the highest ranking crime area in the city of Yonkers at that time. And he closed the street down, and he brought in a basket, and police officers, for that one day, the gang members stopped selling drugs, put all their guns away, and they played against the police officers. And they were very proud because they actually won the police officers, and the police officers ended up giving them a barbecue. And that's how we all started community organizing. There's a lot of beautiful miracles that happen within the city of Yonkers, but the unfortunate thing is that the politicians are not paying attention, and they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. So, I end up working for, Phil Amiconi, who was the deputy mayor at the time. I end up resigning after like a year and a half, as a Democrat, and I joined the Republican administration, partly because my daughter was 11 at the time. I refused to disclose to the world what was going on with my daughter, but she had just been diagnosed with MS. And I just needed to spend the time with my daughter.
Right.
And Mayor Spencer actually ended up giving me a hand and offered me, beyond my wildest dreams, a salary that I'm not going to say no to. Come on now. Because, one time, the city council president was talking about my salary. I said, your wife was offered the salary. Would you take it? And he said, yes. I said, okay, then shut up. Leave it alone already. It's my money. I earned it, but I earned it. I went out there every day and I worked my butt off with the Black, the Hispanic community. I didn't waste my time so much with the white folks. But you know what, though? The white folks helped me out. They helped me help my people. So that's why I'm a Republican, because
so you got
the
more,
stuff that Phil McConaughey and John Spencer have stories that you will never believe the miracles that have been performed in Yonkers. But these Democrats, you know what? They're out there for a photo shoot,
Yeah, so you got more assistance from the Republicans than you got from the Democrats.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something.
Right.
I love Ken Jenkins. He discovered me. It will be a difficult race because Rob Astorino has been nothing but good to me and my family. I can pick up the phone right now and call him on his cell phone, and he will pick up. That's the kind of relationship I have with them. That's the respect that we have for each other. I worked my ass off for this man. Part of my life.
So identify with that a little.
Let me ask you a question. So, starting from the beginning, going back a little bit, for those who do not know who you are, tell everybody who you are and what you've done.
Okay, my name is Lorraine Lopez. I was born and raised in the project Slow Bomb, in Yonkers, New York. I was raised in the street.
I never liked them projects. One way in and one way out. Boy, it made it hard.
Exactly. You know what? There was 3 shootings there this weekend.
Well,
really?
I know. I went to some parties back then, and we had to leave the dude who had the car. We ran the hell out of there because there's one way in, and we had to come back the next day to get the car. I never really liked that project. I'm just telling you.
You know what, though? You know what? The key to success is what I tell Hector. Never forget where you came from.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Never forget where you came from. I was born there. I remember looking out the window in the projects when I was growing up, And, I went out there and I hustled my way into City Hall, and I used the same hustle that I learned in the streets inside the walls of City Hall, and I got what I needed for my people. That's what exactly
some
what
people,
I did.
Some black people are just Latino because
you know what though? Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When I did my giveaways and I did my fundraising stuff like that, 85% of them were black.
Right, and that's
okay.
I can identify
There's
with
no
that.
question of who
when I say my
who I owe my life to.
You know what I mean?
I owe my life to these people out here.
You been in slow bombs before?
Yeah, slow bombs is cheap.
No.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah. She's like,
she went to slow bomb before. She wouldn't be talking what she's talking today.
Lorraine,
slow
you
bombs
see,
is black.
Listen, no disrespect.
I know.
What I'm trying to say.
But she don't get it.
Listen, Lorraine, what I'm trying
Yes, my queen.
What I'm trying to say to you is this. When the power that be, they want us to be divided. They want Latino versus black versus Asian. We all human. We have to come together.
And you know what, though?
What?
We feed into that, and then we don't make an effort, okay?
Right.
If I were to feed into that, I wouldn't have made an effort. And when I got to where I was, I guarantee you that the powers that be gave me everything I asked for. Okay, so let's make the effort and let's get in there. You know what? Because we voted them in there, we have every right to vote them out.
That's
and
right.
we said, they belong to us. They belong to us. That's our taxpayer money. You have every right to go in there. You know what? I used to tell the bum that didn't have no shoes in the corner. You know what? Come see me tomorrow for lunch. And don't worry about not having shoes because this City Hall belongs to you. Okay?
So
that's what we need to remember.
Let me ask you, Lorraine, what are the things that you think that the community need? And when I say community, I'm talking about everybody, all of the poor people. Let's just use them as
and that's what I'm good at.
Community.
And that's what I'm good at.
What
and you
do
know
they
how we
need?
do it? We organize. It's only one word. organize.
I know, but what
Okay?
do you think
You
that they
organize
need
the
from
people.
government?
You know what you do? You do what I do. You go door to door and you knock on every single person's door. And you know what you do? You bring one of those little cards with you, and you write down their name. You write down everything important to them. You write down the children's name, and you go home and you remember them. So the next time they see you, they can trust you.
Right. So look, Lorraine, I wanna piggyback off that. Like I wanna there's this thing called the Time Bank. I don't know if anyone ever heard of it, right? So this guy started it in Harlem, and he went to one block and got everybody on one block their name, their occupation, their age, and how much hours a day they can volunteer their occupation, right?
That's
And
exactly
then
what
he
I
did
did.
was he
I was
connected
trained as a
everybody from one
community-
block so well
Go
that
ahead.
this guy was driving his kids to work. He was cutting his kids' hair. She was babysitting her. He's developed such a great bartering system within one
That's right.
community.
You
cross
develop
black,
a community.
Hispanic or
That's
whatever. He
exactly
just-
how you
he
do it,
just
because you
connected
know what?
this
We're
one community
ostracized
so
now.
well
We're
that they started
ostracized
saving
now.
up hundreds and thousands of dollars a year. Like they seen themselves saving money because
Right.
now they were connecting
Right.
with the local cab driver. They were connecting with the hairdresser.
Now,
They
how
were
do we
connecting.
how do we turn that into political power?
Well, we need to stop and shake. That's what we need to do, and that's why I created the stop and shake. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I'm
Good language. I
talking
like
about.
that.
Yeah, and that's why I created the stop and shake because
know-
in the police department I
You know
created
what's
it to
funny?
counterbalance
You know
the
what's
police.
funny? I'm going to tell you something that Hector's not going to tell you, okay? And it's going to get back to Mr. Mike Spano,
Call her,
the
please
honorable
hold.
mayor of Yonkers. Okay, ever since Hector brought the Stop and Shake program, there have been police communities from all over the United States reaching out to him. You know that not only did Mount Vernon reach out to him, but they also did a video. You know, I mean, and New Rochelle, everyone is reaching out to him locally. And you know what he's doing? He is making the Park and Shake program. He is making the Stop and Walk program. Anything, you know what? Because Hector is a Latino, and he does not want him to succeed.
Actually,
That is
yo,
exactly why that is happening.
I want to see more.
Yeah.
I want to see more. I want to see more police.
That is exactly why that is happening.
I want to see more.
Speaking now that we like wait,
Okay, and it's not the police. No, let me make one thing very clear. It's not the police commissioner because I worked with him for 20 years.
Yeah,
He
Gardner
is
is
one
great.
of the most
Yeah, I met
nicest,
No, Gardner's a good dude.
loving
I've-
commissioners. He gets his orders by somebody else. You know why I know? Because I sat in hundreds of meetings. That's how
Gardner's
I know.
Gardner's a good guy. I've sat with Gardner.
He's an
Speaking of getting
amazing
orders from
guy,
somebody
and he
else.
only follows orders because
but
if
you
he
know-
was let to do what he needed to do,
Hey,
You know what?
Lorraine, but Gardner's like a real commissioner. You know, we got a garbage man in Mount Vernon as a commissioner.
How do we expect
Stop.
the community to be like
Damon, I sent you a text about that earlier.
How do we expect the community of Mount Vernon to take the police serious when we have our commissioner?
You know, I actually, okay, I'm going to say this, okay? I actually got a text from somebody that told me to stay away from Damon.
Oh, really? Well, who is
In
it?
Mount
Who is it?
Vernon.
Spezio?
I can't say it because you know what? My word is always bond, and I'm from the streets.
Oh, he didn't
but
want
you
you
know
to
what
say
I'm
it?
saying. You
He didn't
know
want
what
you to
I'm
say
saying.
it?
All I'm
Well,
going
by
to tell
saying
you,
that-
what is it, John Longer?
They're watching your every move.
By not saying it wasn't him, so we're clear.
Yeah,
You don't
right,
have to
we're
say it.
clear.
We're clear.
Yeah, you know, it's sad that
We're not gonna get better.
that Mr. Spezio, who's trying to get health care off the taxpayers in Mount Vernon, you know, and
You know what? That's unbelievable. I can't believe that it's a Joe that I know.
Well, what Joe
Well,
did
I
you know?
know
Because
him
we're trying to
very
figure
well.
this guy. We're trying to figure
So
what
for all of
know
us,
this-
that don't know
Yo.
Joe well, because he tells us
I
we
know
don't know
exactly,
him.
like the Joe that
Can-
you know.
Can
did
you
he
tell us?
complete development
Okay, let me
projects?
tell you something. The
Did he
Joe
actually
that I
do
know
something?
is a very loving, and you know what? Y'all can shoot me for this, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to be honest. Yo, he is the most loving, most caring person, one of the most loving, most caring person that I've ever met. This man has gone with me on winter snowstorms on Christmas Eve to deliver TVs and toys
So
to
what
children
happened,
that were living in
Lorraine?
mattresses.
What
you
happened?
know?
So
And
maybe
this
you
is
have the
not
wrong
the Joe
impression
that
of
I
him,
know.
Damon.
That's why
Maybe
not
I
long
do.
ago I said something on your post. I was like, Joe, what the hell is going on? You know what, Joe? Forgive me, Joe, for saying this, but he has a young son. His son went through cancer at the age of 14 not long ago. How dare you? How dare you pick on somebody else's child when you know what you've been going through? You know, don't do that. That is not the Joe that I know. That's not the Joe that I know. And I'm just like, what the hell corrupted the son of a
health
bitch?
issues, because that might be against HIPAA violation. I ain't getting involved in that.
Well, it was in the
Of
newspaper.
course
He did
not,
have a
Miss
very
Queen.
sick
Of
son.
course not, Miss Queen.
Well, you know,
No,
I mean,
that's the problem here. He makes $25 million a year, so he says. And then he submits his financial disclosures to the city clerk the other day, the whole administration, under seal, saying it only can be used if there's an investigation, which is a crock of foolishness. And I plan on looking at it this week, Mr. Spezio. But that's another issue. How does someone who makes this money have the audacity to come and say, we need to pay health care?
Healthcare.
This is just utterly ridiculous. I mean,
You know, and when you're gonna hear when I text you a copy of the text that I got today, you're gonna see how utter ridiculous it is. They really want me to stay away from Damon. Okay, now that's just not gonna happen.
you know what
I just read it all out.
What that tells me-
right? What they tell right?
But
They
let me
stay
tell
away
you,
from.
What that
thing
tells
I
me
do
is that you know
about
some stuff they don't want us to
Spezio
know.
was That he had a great relationship with Mayor Amiconi in the beginning. Something happened, and some way or another, Mayor Amiconi ran him out of Yonkers.
'Cause he's a crook.
And at that time, he owned a building called 45 South Broadway in downtown Getty Square. It was a big building,
That he
and
took
Joe Spezio, right across from
$800,000
City
for, never
Hall,
repaid.
and that ended up closing. And he ended up bankrupting or getting a foreclosure, or something happened that the city ended up condemning that entire building. He had a loss, and he was ran out of Yonkers. So I was
that's
told.
why he
And
didn't
that
want you
building
around me,
stayed
Lorraine.
empty
'Cause you
for
just-
many, many years. It's just now starting to open, and that affects our community, dude.
I believe it does.
Right.
I believe it does. But
It's like a 10, 12-story building with dozens of offices, doctors' offices.
Yeah, and they have the
our
family
people
court
need that.
house. The family court.
Yeah,
have their headquarters
exactly.
there. Yeah, he
Right
took
next door to it. Yeah, right next door to
from
it.
the Yonkers city. And I don't know how he's not in jail to this day for that shenanigan. And he never paid back. That loan is still on the Yonkers taxpayers' books. I don't know if it's been recorded, but he took $800,000 and he's just running free. I mean, he's a con man. He got his start by burning down his house.
All I know is
in
there was
Greenburgh and
really bad
collecting
blood
insurance
because I
money.
was not allowed to even say his name in front of the boss man. No, it was that bad. It was that bad. He ran out of Yonkers pretty bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Why weren't you allowed to say his name? I'm just interested in this. Why?
Because at that time, ma'am, I was a public servant working under Mayor Amiconi as his special assistant. That's why, ma'am. But you know what, though? I spent my time doing a lot of great other things.
Right.
So we're going to run him out of Mount Vernon, just like they're getting ran out of Yonkers.
I think Mount Vernon is awesome.
So let me ask you a question.
I just want to give a big shout out to Mount Vernon. Everybody out there, y'all great. Keep doing your thing.
Let me ask you, Lorraine. So you're telling me other stuff about Yonkers. So I'm sure you're reading the newspapers and hearing the news reports of what's being alleged in Mount Vernon. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, from your experience with him in Yonkers?
I just gave you my thoughts on him, but this is not the Joe Spezio that I know, And I did get a text message, from a third party from him, and he did ask me to contact him. I will contact him because he was my friend, and That's just the person I am. I am
So
going
is
to
it
talk
him
to
who
him.
wants
I
you to
am going
stay
to
away
find
from
out what's
Damon?
going on, and then I guess what? I will
What's-
report back to you guys. I guess.
Lorraine,
So understand. So who's bringing Joe Spezio? Who's Joe Spezio coming under in Mount Vernon? Who's his?
Oh my
circle?
God, Hector, you better start going on Facebook more often, honey.
Joe
I'm too busy
Spezio.
trying to. I'm sorry. I'm too busy.
She said, Hector, you're not informed.
Man, I'm
what
too
happened?
busy. I want to hear the opinions. You know, that's why I'm just
Well,
stirring
Joe-
up conversation.
Joe
That's
Spezia
it.
is the devil reincarnated.
Okay. Anyone else?
Aw.
Because look at his
Anyone else?
actions. People are looking at all of these nice things he's done, which he thinks, people in Mount Vernon are very passive and gonna let it go.
is it he who's paying for the barbecues? I want to know who's paying for the
He
barbecues.
said out of his own mouth on video, and when he went on that tirade.
Everything was donations. Everything
that
was donations.
The new
against
bikes.
Councilman. He said he's brought in bikes. He's brought
Basketball
in this.
courts.
He's brought in-
Yeah.
But I also did some research with the Mount Vernon Police Manual, where it conflicts where he's not even allowed to do this. So if he did do
Holy
it,
smokes.
he's violating the police department manual, and if he didn't do it, he's a liar. So
Well,
no matter what
the other thing is, and I've heard this in several city council meetings from the council president. They said the council is the body that they have to vote for the acceptance of any kind of a donation
Correct.
that is given to, like, if you was outside of Mount Vernon and you just wanted to donate $100,000 to Mount Vernon
Right.
to the police department, they could not take that, or the mayor's office could not take that
Unless the
until the
council
council
says it's in the
voted
best benefit
to
of the
accept
city.
it.
Right.
They couldn't take donations like, say, motorcycles for the cops or anything
smokes.
without the
Or
mouth,
the vest
without
that
the
was just
council
given to the
voting on it
dogs.
and to approve it. And this is something, the point that they've made over and over and over. The problem I'm having with the statement is he's readily bragging on Facebook and wherever else that he's buying these things, and I've talked to police officers and I've talked to other people, and they're like, "Oh no, Joe's not bad. Every time we need something, he buys us all the stuff we need."
Well,
And
why does somebody have to buy
That's
us
what I
something?
just
Why
said.
can't we buy our own thing? This is the mold that I'm coming back to. And
No.
this is why I said we
But you
need
know what? The
jobs.
mold that you're talking about, it's
We need to
also the
create
mold that I
jobs.
was
We
talking
need to
about.
support each
My
other,
personal
local black
relationship with
businesses.
him.
Right,
Local
but-
Latino
Okay?
black businesses.
I knew him as a friend.
Right.
I
No,
confided in him. We talked about city issues. We talked about his personal issues. There were things that went on there. We're not talking about that.
Right.
But see, Lorraine, the issue that I have is this. We seem to have, well, not me, folks seem to have this sort of approach where they want people to give them stuff. And anyone who is giving you stuff is going to demand something in return. So, for example, if Joe Spezio is giving you stuff, then he may think that he has the right to tell you not to associate with Damon. And if you associate with Damon, then he has the right to cut you off as your benefactor.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I am
Yes.
speaking about self-reliance, and this is what I'm saying.
And that's what
We
I'm
need
talking
to-
about, self-reliance too, because I'm talking about when the situations like Joe Spezio arise, then you know what? You move on to the next one. Okay? You don't stop and you don't give up. You move on to the next one. And when you know what? When you get two steps above him, he's going to come to you. Okay? Then you have the upper hand.
Well, and then a couple other things. So I've heard several officers, it was like, "Oh no, so we just use them for what we need them for." Then I've heard the low HUD, I guess, interview where the mayor was with the editorial staff, and several questions they asked was, "So why is this guy? Who's this guy who does not live in Mount Vernon?" And what's his vested interest that he just gives all this stuff to Mount Vernon and he's doing all these things for Mount Vernon. He's not even a Mount Vernon resident.
not Santa
Right.
Claus.
So he says, so what's the point? Like, and Rich said, Mayor Richard Thomas, said that is because he wanted to see him succeed, talking about the mayor. And he says, so he doesn't want anything for this? No, he's doing all of this out of the kindness of his heart. He doesn't do this to want anything. And now I'm hearing stuff about he's making demands, pretty much threatening the controller that if she don't put his health benefits through, he's going to take some kind of legal action.
Well, I don't know what kind of legal action he's going to take, because I don't see how he can be entitled to benefits in Mount Vernon when he doesn't have a job as a civil servant.
Now I want to ask Damon, maybe you can speak to this, because maybe you know better than I do. One of the people in the comments, many comments all over the place, was that as the dollar commissioner, that makes him a full-time employee, and as a full-time employee,
but he's not.
He's entitled to benefits.
First, let's get something clear.
Right.
According to the clerk's letter to the mayor,
Mm-hmm.
the only person that has that honorary police position is Anthony Mitchell. He has the $1 per year, not Joseph Spezio.
Okay.
And that's according to the clerk. So someone got something twisted, because I can only go by the clerk's letter.
But we need
to
to
the
get
man.
rid of these $1 per year thing. If
I can tell you this in Yonkers. I was in an honorary position for
say
about
that again.
10
Hold
years.
on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Wait. Go ahead, Lorraine.
Okay,
say
go
that
ahead.
again. And we had
When I was assigned as special assistant to the mayor, I was assigned to that position for about a good 10 years as an honorary position. It wasn't until about 10 years when a new commissioner came in and drafted up, new rules and stuff like that, and I had to take a test, or I didn't have to take a test, it depended. So in my position, I didn't have to take a test. And, there were several other positions that it depended on what level they were, depended on how much they were going to make. But as far as I'm concerned, if it's an honorary position, like your Spezio has, that's under the discretion of the mayor himself.
Yeah, but if he could have the honorary position. I mean, you're just honorary, but you're not on payroll.
And that's what he said.
Yeah, but
and
you know
that's
what? I never signed it. And I'm going to tell you why, Damon. Because when it came to my position, they had a note stating that I had to conduct myself in a certain way when out in public.
Obviously
that was not for no other white folk out
right.
there. I was the only one that got that. So I never signed it.
Okay.
And I stayed in my position.
We have another caller who's been holding for like at least a half an hour. From the
It was
718. No, stay on, Lorraine. Caller
Okay.
from the 718 area code. What's your purpose of calling, and state your name, please? Caller from the 718 area code. Okay, go ahead, Lorraine. I just wanted to give that person a chance to talk. There now.
Hi, how are you? It's Lorraine. And Damon.
They're calling back now. Hold on. Oh wow. Caller from the 718 area code. Please state your name and purpose for calling.
It's Lorraine from 718 area code.
Oh, okay. Caller from the 914 area code. You've been holding for. State your name and purpose for calling.
Hello?
Hello.
This is Jeff. I'm calling from 718.
Oh, okay, you're calling from.
I got dropped off the call.
Okay. We got to mix up.
Hey,
Sorry.
Jeff, how are you doing? You got a question for, or you want to chime in on the conversation?
I actually am on the road, and I've been holding for 15 minutes to just hear the conversation because I got the impression we were talking about my favorite subject today, Black Power. So I don't know what contributions have been made to that extent, and I actually am encouraged to hear that there is some discussion on Latin power, and that's an important part of the whole conversation on Black Power because it's hand in hand in America.
Thank you. I agree. I
don't
totally
know where
agree.
we are. I hear a lot of talk about Spezio, and I'm here to talk about the more important fundamentals.
That's my guy right there.
No, we didn't. We didn't important.
That's what I'll talk about. Right?
Yeah, no, Spezio was the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, I just wanted to clarify the insurance so we can move on very quickly.
Right.
Just to clarify how these benefits work. Full-time employees are eligible for benefits after 90 days of employment. Part-time employees are eligible for benefits after 1 year and must have earned a minimum of $20,000. So Spezio can never get benefits. He earns $1.
Well, after 20,000 years, then.
No, he doesn't.
First of all,
you must earn the $20,000.
He doesn't even earn that.
Exactly.
Because that position is held by Anthony Mitchell.
Right. So let's say we wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, let's give him something. he doesn't fit into the criteria. So I want to see this legal action that he's gonna. I mean, he just talks. I've just noticed this, but I don't think he's gonna pursue any legal action against this. He's just gonna,
He can pursue all the legal action he wants to. He doesn't have.
No. He's good for that. He does. I can vouch for that. He does threaten a lot, but he does never go
He's
through.
threatened Sam Rivers, but I didn't see any
He filed a lawsuit.
Nobody pays him attention except for the freaking mayor of Mount Vernon.
She said no one pays him attention except the mayor of Mount Vernon. Yeah, because he filed a lawsuit against me. It's coming on a year, November 15th. And he posted it all over, and I've still yet to get served this lawsuit.
But I want to move. I want to move.
We want to move on because
Jeff,
if
go
Jeff's
to what Jeff was talking about
if Jeff's still on the line,
yes.
I am. I'm on the road, so if I get dropped off,
all right. But this goes into what we're talking about goes into even what Dr. Jeffries was speaking on and when he was talking about the Mobutu syndrome, and also talking about that people, black and brown people in America, need to set their own standards and norms and values in black politics, because we don't. When it comes to our own elected officials, we don't do that. We do not have norms and values that we hold them by. We allow them to get in office and just go willy-nilly and go all over the place, and then we don't make sure that they are accountable to who put them in office.
Right. But we identify those things that we need, so we tell them, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have to do these.
Well, that's it. But that's. But
that's, okay, so.
For example, we know by the actions of Joe Spezio, that's what he did. If I support you, if I fund you, if I do this, I want A, B, C, and D. See, the black community needs to do the same thing. Right. The black community needs to do the same thing when we support these candidates, just not supporting them willy-nilly. And another problem that we have is that we always get around the candidate. See, we always get around the candidate, and when the candidate gives us a shaft, we do not have an organizational structure to move on that candidate and then find another candidate to replace. We got to
build the movement. We got to build.
We have to start that.
Yeah, it really. That's why I want to piggyback off that, right? And speak on the concept of the Stop and Shake and why I created it, right?
Right.
Because it definitely started with the police department. I felt like if the police department could look at us and stereotype us and say, this is potentially a perp, let me stop and frisk them. They can say, this is a hardworking man or woman, let me stop and shake their hand.
Happened to me many times.
But what I like to push, even in my communities, right, is if you're not going to stop and shake the cops, stop and shake the people calling the cops on you. Because they're calling the cops on you because they can't look out their window and say you're being too loud, or that you're hanging out, or that whatever the case, right? And even guys from the bodega. So Stop and Shake, I run a bunch of interpersonal communication workshops because it's the disconnect of people that creates all this drama and all this stuff that goes on is the disconnect. You got 10 people in one city doing the same exact thing but on different agendas, so they won't support each other. Right? I sit here and as an outside entity looking into Mount Vernon, right? I love everyone I've ever met in Mount Vernon differently, right? And the only bias I have is from what I've heard from different people, because I make my own reference on how I've met them, right? One thing that I've realized from being from Yonkers and getting so many people from Mount Vernon to reach out for me is that most of the people that have called me all want the same exact thing. They just don't talk to each other to get it.
Exactly.
So here I
That's
come.
That's why community organizing, community building is the key.
Right, and this is what I do in the communities. I come in and I connect the same people that could connect themselves. But there's so many different
by the way, this man doesn't get paid for this, by the way. This man does not get paid.
I do is pro bono. Unless I come in, I do a workshop and stuff, but I'm out there stopping and shaking free 99.
You're right,
you know what I mean?
What I was saying earlier.
Right, and it's gotten me so far because
it's got subdivisions, but you have the race, and then now you have these other factions. That
one of our readers was saying that Joe, the wonderful man that he is, has placed you guys on a permanent pause. Joe Spezio is a despicable person who buys people to do his bidding. The greedy accept the payola and call him massa. Can't hear. I don't know what I can't read the rest of it. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm so hated because I wouldn't accept his money to take
And
over
that's why the exact same thing happened in Yonkers.
So maybe
exact
because
same
I
thing
told him
happened
I
in
didn't need
Yonkers.
his goddamn money, so I can't be bought. So
Maybe
maybe that's why I'm just.
Yeah,
so
he
angry.
left a pretty bad taste in everybody's mouth here.
Well, that was the first meeting when I told him to kiss my ass, and then that was it.
So
Well,
did he
Damon,
give you a
Damon,
sum?
can I pipe in at
Jeff,
this point?
Jeff.
No, he didn't give me a
Jeff,
sum.
go ahead, Jeff.
There's because Damon is touching on the second point now. The first thing he said that I want to kind of affirm in the last 5 minutes was that there's an issue of organizational structure, and the second thing he backs up, and I think the evidence for organizational structure that outweighs what we should have in this community that's mostly black and Latino is the other piece, which is financial structure. Now, when it comes to what you're talking about,
yes.
Damon is affirming that the fact that people sell out. Now, we don't really talk about this, but the only reason we don't have black power, and to be honest, let's be honest. Let's just be frank for a second and go back to the history. Latin people in this country are part of the indigenous population by extended family. So there is, by cultural affinity, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Hector, I know he did. I know I had a brief conversation with Brother Hector some time ago in the park about Stop and Shake, and it's an excellent initiative to go forward from a community that has cultural affinity and cultural parity. Okay, they have some power within the Latin community economically, culturally, and on some levels politically because they have economic and cultural affinity. Right. What we don't have in the black community, and this includes the African American community, the Caribbean African community, and what's left of the power structure of the continental African community, because continental African communities coalesce in New York City and other places around the country, and they have some economic power, but don't really use it politically. So let's go to the real as to why black people in general don't have power, and that is the sellout. We have a lot of communities in the United States that have black people historically, but the only communities that don't get attacked are the ones that have black faces with power that are funded by white corporate or white supremacist orders. Now, let's be real about who they are. They are organizations like the NAACP, the Urban League, various Greek societies. You know, all these organizations were set up for black elite.
Right.
Not for the black masses.
Right.
And I know Helena's going to pipe in. Now let me finish, because I know this is one of Helena's favorite points. Helena likes to say that African people sold each other into slavery. I'm not going to go into that because there are historical inaccuracies there, but that's the fact of what we have in America. We don't have black power. We have black faces affirming white power. White power is what, in fact, you don't even need black power in places where you don't have white supremacy. The only reason you have white supremacy is because you have so-called people calling themselves white, and that came out of a whole other ideological function of the 16th century of, I forget the German so-called anthropologist name. Maybe Bob can help me with that. But the point is that we had to white supremacy had to manufacture a label for people who were taking power. They called themselves white, and they came to America and took power. They genocided a bunch of people, enslaved a bunch of other people, and took power. When so-called African people, so-called black people took power for themselves, they were attacked, mutilated, massacred in many cases, just like First Nations people.
Well, you have the rule of law, Jeff,
what you have left over in the 20th century from all those massacred communities is black elites holding power as brown-faced people holding firm and firm footing for white power. We have that right now with a brown-faced president holding white power. So what you don't have in places like Westchester is black power. You have a lot of places like in fact, you have nowhere like Mount Vernon, because you have a whole municipality that's mostly black and Latino. But in other places, you have some black faces holding power with maybe mostly black-faced school boards, black-faced mayorships, black-faced city councils, and most of them are making money either through social services or the prison industrial complex or the education or not-for-profit industrial complex, basically making money for white power. What we don't have is black power in our community because we don't have standards for black people. We don't have a value system, value system that actually affirms us. And you know, this is usually where people who are uncomfortable with this topic, whether it's not non-progressive white folks or elitist black folks, really either shut up or clear the room. Because when they clear the room, they don't have to talk about it. But what we need to talk about, the fact of the matter is that we have black elites who protect white power because they have a little juice, little status, and some money. Well, we protect and we protect that in Mount Vernon.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, and we have to start dealing with that. Mount Vernon will be nowhere in the future if you continue to vote by black face just because they have a brown face. We have a school board that doesn't educate black children or Latino properly. We have a city council that have some good people on it. We have some black politicians that will do the right thing, but they don't have enough support from the people. Because the people are satisfied with brown face.
Jeff, I mean, for me and you, this conversation is redundant. We always talk about organized, but we also, we also have to talk about, what are the standards?
It's not
what
organized.
Are the norms?
It's breaking
what are the values?
Conditioning.
Right,
you know
and I think Dr. Jeffries, at the last Pan-African Dialogue meeting, it was discussed that, with the help of Dr. Jeffries and different professors of African culture, to develop that, so we could put a standard of what is the norms, values that we have in the black political process to hold our black elected officials accountable. I mean, it doesn't matter what position they hold, because when they get to that level, even a close friend of mine, I love him to death, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. He's not the same Eric Adams that ran 100 blacks in law enforcement. Now that he's Brooklyn Borough President, and he's backed by money that is not black money. You understand? So,
but you had part of the answer.
He has a different
you
agenda.
had part of the answer when you said African culture, and you're talking about the academe. You're talking about basically professors and teachers. You're talking about culture. You're talking about being able to teach people what they don't know. And that's what we don't do in the black community.
Right.
No, we're happy enough to have. We're happy enough to have Black History Month. Black History Month is not African culture. Having a bunch of black inventors teaching your kids about the last 200 years of African experience in America is not black culture. And when you surprise the black children,
go ahead. I know people don't want to hear this, but it actually comes back to actually voting and changing some legislations. So that the minority community can move them. I was talking with Hector yesterday about this. For example, right here we have an issue in the Latino community that is not spoken about by the county executive, by anybody. We have a lot of young Latina girls pregnant. Okay, and half of them are other minorities or whites. Okay, they're not all Latino because we have just got an enormous amount of influx of immigrants in Yonkers, and the cultures are really, really mixing within the Hispanic community. So one of the issues that we have is you have a little 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 17-year-old girl that's pregnant. Okay, we're not going to go into why she got pregnant, her parents, how they raised her, whatever. She's pregnant, nevertheless. She goes to right here on, right down the block, and she goes to social services, and she asks for help. Immediately, they contact CPS. Okay, now this girl has to go through a whole bunch of humps and hoodles just to get her child back. Okay, and then, the majority of these kids are actually good kids, good fathers that want to be fathers, that want to be responsible, and they realize they made a mistake and want to be responsible. But if they go to CPS and they answer honestly, the last time that I smoked marijuana was a year ago, they have to automatically go into a 3-month program. They lose their job. They can't take care of their child. And we're back into poverty level again. Okay,
well,
these are
right.
some of the stuff that you talked about when white oppression. That is a classical case of white oppression.
It's embedded in the structure of how we live our everyday life.
I disagree with you with that because I think personal responsibility started this.
I'm not saying. I said we won't get into that, but if you want to get into that, I can get into that.
Full blame on the
no, I don't. I said this was an example of white oppression in the community. Okay, I didn't say that this was an example of personal morals or anything like that, because let me tell you something. I have 2 kids. I have a black son who's in Hunter College, who's an honor kid, okay? He's studying to be a psychologist, okay? And he has gotten there for the last 8 years and nothing but scholarships, okay? I have a daughter who, that's why I'm not in the program right now, who's having her 2nd child right now. This girl never cursed in front of me, okay? It is about personal responsibility, but we don't have to get into that. I'm talking about class and racism right here.
And you're talking about systemic oppression, Sister Lorraine.
Systematic oppression.
That's the thing we have to remember. Personal accountability, Helena, does not fix or enable systemic oppression. Right. Systemic oppression can only be fought when you organize or create systems and institutions against it. That's
and there's a lot more political stuff going on. There's a lot more going on political stuff in Westchester County that people don't even know about. For instance, one day when I was in the city council, I had a vote on the budget, which was the biggest thing that the city council votes on. I had a black leader of my party come up to me and tell me, you cannot vote on this. I said, why not? And they told me, because we don't have jobs. And I knew that if I voted on it, I forget about the people that were going to have jobs. My entire community, including 16 senior buildings, were going to benefit from it. So I voted for it. That day, that same chairperson stormed into the city council, and Tony Pagano, who was the firefighters' president at the time, jumped over 2 benches to get to him so that he won't get to me. I understand what oppression is. Trust me, I've been there, but I fought it every single way.
Well, but that's just white supremacy doing what it's got to do. White supremacy will always fight to the death to keep its power.
But they don't ever have to win.
That's what most of us are not prepared to do.
That's the thing that I'm trying to say. They don't ever have to win. They don't have to win.
Well,
we have the power.
We have to properly fight, and we have to make sacrifices to do it. We can't wait for a job. We can't wait for policy. Like one of those issues that you talked about. You know, there's certain things that we don't have to wait on laws or policy to do. There's certain things in the Latin community that your family or extended family or your friends, your social circle, there are several in-house issues within the Black and Latino community that we can handle without the need for policy or laws.
Through education.
How do we?
And that's the actual power that we have. Right. When we have that power, then we extend it into political and economic power.
You know what they're scared of?
Let me ask you a question.
The thing is, we already have that power. We already have that power. We just don't know it. But you know what? They know it. And they're scared.
They do know it.
And they try every time they can to oppress us.
See,
go ahead, Damon.
Jeff, what are you registered as?
I'm sorry?
What are you registered as?
Where am I registered? I'm not a citizen of this fine country, sir.
Huh?
What are you registered as a voter?
He's not a citizen.
Oh,
Did you hear me?
Okay. Well, you're neither a Democrat. See, we're having this conversation, and let me and even the listeners, you got to understand, we're having a conversation, and nobody's here is a Democrat.
Well, I'm a registered Democrat.
But that's not even the issue. Even if we were a Green Party,
it just shows to show that we think the same way, that we need to move forward. It just shows to show that we all think in the same way and that we need to move forward.
Traditionally, a conversation like this, with a room full of people of color, would be a room full of Democrats.
Right, and they would not have a conversation.
Amen to that.
Amen
to that. Yes, congratulations on that. Congratulations on that.
Speech, what do you have to lose?
Sammy, what do you have to lose?
You know what?
Congratulations, though. It was
since he brought
amazing.
that
I don't
up,
have nothing to lose.
Yeah, you
yo.
do.
listen.
We're living in poverty. Our
Yo, when you
schools
lost
are
everything, who cares?
bad.
You just keep starting over. It's okay.
No, but what? You know, I'm not voting. I'm not voting for Trump. But I will say, when you look around and you see the black communities, and they are run by majority are run by Democrats.
All the inner cities are run by Democrats.
Right, they're
Let me
run
be
by
the one
Democrats.
to say run from Trump, please.
And,
run away.
the issues
run away.
issues that he brought up, he's absolutely correct.
I agree.
But
He
you
is
won't
absolutely
vote for him
agree.
because
No, I'm not
he's
voting
racist.
for him. No.
Because he's
I'm voting
racist.
for Trump.
Because it applies
I'm not
to
voting for him.
It applies. It
I'm not
applies.
voting
I don't
for
care
him.
I don't care what words you put in it. Trump does not represent any of my interests. I don't
Listen,
care.
no,
You
no,
call
not
him
even
racist,
that.
you
Not
call him
even-
whatever. He doesn't represent
No.
anything.
Trump
You
represent a
mean
lot
his
of my
promise,
interests. So
his
I'm
promise
Listen,
to bring
listen.
jobs.
Commercialism,
your-
that's what it is.
No,
Listen.
no.
Right.
His,
He likes
his
to be on the
promise to
camera.
bring jobs to this country.
Okay, I got you.
Is
I got
money.
you.
But
Yeah, let's
Say
go
what's
to the
the
World Cup
politician
Congress
says
on
somebody
us.
to
Let's
work.
Let me stop there. So
Let's
let me say
That's
something.
lame.
Hold on, everybody.
You better stop.
Hold on. We have to listen to what is being said.
Stop listening to
The
that man.
thing is, a lot of people promise us jobs, and then we
Right.
get these minimum wage jobs, and it doesn't help nobody pay nobody's
Well,
salary.
listen, what are your
but the
qualifications?
bottom
Are
line.
you willing
Wait,
to
wait,
be
wait, 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 wait,
trained?
wait, wait. A lot of people that
This
are more
guy said
a lot of
that
people that
he
are more
earned
qualified.
the easiest Purple
When
Heart
people
in the
talk
world.
about giving jobs,
What
they're
type
not
of
talking about giving high
disrespectful-
quality jobs
He is crazy,
that
man.
you can have a decent
That
quality of life.
discounts every
A lot
other
of these
person.
jobs are low paying jobs with no future.
Okay.
But he kept his word and gave jobs.
Okay,
But jobs that you
Exactly.
can't afford your
Okay, but
the job
Jeff,
that you can't
listen.
afford your
He
But
made all
Jeff,
the money and
listen.
they fired
So
him.
what do
Let
you
me
win
ask you
there?
a
What do you win
question.
there?
Let me ask you a question, Jeff. Did our community have a lot of unskilled people? They need training. Then in order.
No, the community has a lot of skilled people. They just
and
don't know their
and
skill.
They don't have jobs.
You know,
we
they don't have
skilled people who
because
don't
we
have
don't know how to
jobs.
utilize
Where
them.
where
Listen,
the-
a lot of the
where-
things I'm doing now
where
is
the-
because I made my hood skills transferable. I'm able to
It's
read the
that
right.
big,
Wait.
All my
A question
skills
from
transferable.
Sandy Bernard. She wanted to know who was the man speaking on the phone. That would be
Right.
Jeff Monroe from Mount Vernon. Sandy. She asked specifically who was that. Shout out to Q English, who's on the check-in. Shout out to Phyllis Cole Hollis, my aunt and Rochelle. Shout out to everybody. I just can't read everybody's name, but Ken Bright's on.
Which one you
and
on?
Shauna Marie Wallace.
Which page are you on? Your page?
I'm on all the pages.
Oh.
I just keep going back and forth because you can't.
Oh.
Every time y'all share it,
Yeah.
and somebody leaves
I'm
comments
like,
on that
I'm
page.
not seeing that.
So,
not seeing none of that, right.
so I got to go to like my page, the People Before Politics page, and I went to Helena's page, and I go to every other page. So I see little things pop up. So, but yeah.
Can I answer Helena's question real quick?
Yes,
Because-
and I think we have a third caller on that. I'd like to give them at least a few minutes. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna make this statement, and I'm gonna actually hang up. But I'm looking forward to hearing the whole show later. The point to Helena's question as to why so-called unskilled, and I agree with Hector. A lot of us are autodidactic. We learn without even the proper so-called proper and formal training of schooling or high school or college. And we are great business people. We are great poets. We're great scientists and mathematicians. And all of
Amen
that
to
can be
that.
affirmed. It can be affirmed historically. But the point is, training it has to come from the direction of the interest of the person being trained. You can't send black children, Latin children to even the best universities and expect them to build the black community because they go to universities to be corporate slaves. You cannot build a community with just a college degree. It was never meant to educate people into freedom. I don't care how many degrees or
He's
PhDs you
100%
got.
right.
You can't, someone like brother, like Bob will tell you, you can jump through all kind of hoops for a PhD and still not even have a job. And if you get a job, you're not going to be building your community, even if you have the
I agree.
mindset.
Right, we
I
have too
agree,
many
but
people-
you
we got a lot
never
of
give up
people-
trying.
We got a lot of
But
people with
you don't
master's
give up trying.
PhDs that don't have
You
jobs.
can't give up trying because if you don't give up trying, you can never make a change.
Okay, I want to
But you
change.
got to organize on the ground first. You got to organize on the ground first, and
I
then
agree.
send people
I agree.
into the
I
training.
agree. I
Absolutely.
agree.
Right. I wanna
Community
get-
organizing is the key.
We're on the same page.
Okay, I want to.
You know, let me tell you something.
right, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Lorraine, hold on 1 second. First off, thank you, Sandy. She said one hell of a lively discussion tonight. And we have a third caller. We have a third caller from 914 who has been holding patiently, who has not spoke. I'm going to need you to make it brief because we're coming to the end of the show. Please state your name and purpose for calling. The caller who has not spoke yet from 914. Hello.
Okay, this is Denise Branch. Denise Cardoza Branch.
Thank you. I need you to make
Hey, Denise.
Denise. Hey, Miss Branch. What's happening?
Unfortunately, we're at the end of the show, so I need you to make your comment brief or question brief so we can keep it moving.
Okay. Half of this I missed because that great Joe Spezio stopped me from looking at it. Okay. We all know about it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I have a big problem with people saying black or Hispanic. They're two different things. My grandfather was from Spain.
Latino,
I've got black. I've got everything in me.
It's two different cultures. It's two different cultures. Totally agree.
I have not spoken yet.
Okay, sorry, ma'am.
Okay. Everybody let Denise speak real brief, please.
I identify as being black because I am black. Okay? Now, Hispanic means you speak Spanish. I don't care where the hell you were born. If you were black as a berry and in Africa and your parents went to Sweden and you were born in Sweden, you're still damn black. I don't care if you speak Swedish. Okay? I don't care what you speak.
God bless you.
To try and divide the races. My family is so mixed. We got Puerto Ricans. We got Cubans. We got Spain from Spanish.
Me too.
We got black. We got all of this in us.
It's a wonderful thing.
Black.
It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. I agree.
That's what causes this division. Because when you say because you were born in another country or you speak a different language, you're not black.
But see, I can't agree with that.
I never said that. Oh, I absolutely never said that. I never said that. I was born in the project.
You did say black or Hispanic. There's no or.
I was talking about cultures. I was talking about class. I was talking about other things, ma'am.
Not race. We were talking about race.
Oh, okay.
I think the biggest problem
this is what
in America is
causes.
acceptance.
I got you. I understand. I got you. I understand.
Okay, that's the first thing. Half of the stuff I missed because all of a sudden you went into pause and I never got you back. And then I tried to call and kept saying, take a message.
Well,
We're busy.
I appreciate you calling in, and we got your message. We're about to wrap up.
It was great talking to you.
Thank you. I'm about to do last comments to everybody. I'm going to give everybody in the room, please, like the politicians in the debate, 1 minute or less, like 2 minutes. Hector, if anybody want to know about Stop and Shake, follow you on social media. Any last words?
Right. Hector Santiago on Facebook. You can Google www.stopandshake.com. Check out my website. Follow Stop and Shake, Facebook, Instagram, anything you want. My last words for everyone, if there's one thing I want you to think of any moment, is acceptance and challenge everything. Accept certain things that
you cannot change.
Right, that you can't change, and challenge things that you feel like you might not know. Make sure that you challenge that bear. Make sure the bear is still alive or has passed away a long time ago.
Samuel Rivers.
I want everyone to keep tuning in. We have some really, really big things going on this week. We have another bombshell regarding the Mount Vernon police that will be, it's very disturbing, so I didn't want to say it's a bombshell. But we'll be exposing that this week, so look out for that. And tune in to Mount Vernon Exposed, and we will keep bringing you the news as we see fit.
So that is you, Mount Vernon Exposed. Everybody tries to give you credit for everything, but you are Mount Vernon Exposed.
Mount Vernon Exposed. There's a lot of other groups that, and they're doing great work as well. There's a lot of
and I just want to say, for the record,
yeah,
I get
Robert
accused.
Elder's
Wait,
doing it.
I get accused of being your ghostwriter, and that should be offensive because Sam does his own damn writing. So just,
All I gotta say now,
I actually got thrown out of an event because I was your ghostwriter. The mayor's inauguration, I got thrown out for being his ghostwriter. Yeah.
And
Okay, so is it my turn?
yeah.
Oh, you finished, Sam? You finished?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Pull your mic up to you. Pull your mic up to you.
I just want to say that we are all one race, human race. Because when we have all
Don't
of
vote
these
for Trump.
divisions, this divide and conquer approach that's been used forever, that has caused some people to starve while some people get rich, and some people don't care because it's not my people and that people and the other people. We have to have a oneness. I was born in the Caribbean, but I'm married to a man who was born and raised in Mount Vernon. There is no difference between us. We all have our ancestors that came out of Africa. Some people have not recognized that yet. And as soon as they recognize that and we come together as one power, we would be able to succeed.
Lorraine, last words. Lorraine, last words.
I just want to thank y'all for having me. I know I was supposed to be there in the studio with y'all,
we would like
but
to see
like
you
I
in the
said,
studio next time.
I will
live and
definitely
color.
be there. You know what?
Okay.
You know what? I'm asking you. Please have me back.
Yeah, you coming
Okay,
back,
and I will
Lorraine.
definitely be there. I will definitely be there, and we will have a lively conversation. And then I also just want to congratulate the wonderful Hector Santiago and his Stop and Shake program and his baby girl with him and Felicia. Congratulations. You're a wonderful dad. Don't let anyone tell you any different. And I just want to say, you know what? We pick ourselves up and we just keep rolling along because eventually they're going to listen. Trust me, they listen.
That's right, and I'm not such a bad guy after all, no matter what they say.
No, you're not. You're actually a wonderful guy. Hey, why you think I'd say
Well, I
on the
mean,
phone with you this
last
long?
year candidates were told not to come on the show.
Yeah.
And they didn't come and they
I
lost.
just came for the free
I'm
promo.
just saying.
I came for the cheap plug, free promo. Don't vote for Trump. Run.
No. Keep keeping it real. Keep keeping it real because that's what we need. We need real. We need real
No
in
doubt.
the black community. And we need real in the Hispanic community. As long as you
I
got
want
me
to
there,
expose
I
Mount
am
Vernon's
real.
police department for great efforts they've done with Stop and Shake.
Okay.
Yes, and the Running Man program that they put on.
Yeah,
video was awesome.
No. We don't talk about Running Man. No, we're not being on the steps
Okay.
cooning. No, we don't do cooning on this show. We don't talk about anybody doing the Running Man.
Awesome.
Back in the
This
days,
is
that was called
awesome.
cooning, stepping, fetching. What was it? Everything? What was it?
No, we don't do
we
that.
don't.
You know what? Let's.
Good night,
You know,
everybody.
hey,
God bless
since I got the Stop and Shake originator, why don't we
Yes, that's right.
have a police challenge
Right.
that they will not kill an unarmed black man?
Instead of
that?
Instead of doing the running,
Nice.
Instead of doing the running man, instead
Nice.
of doing the Running Man challenge, why don't police departments say we will follow the continuum of force policies in our police department, and we will not shoot an unarmed black man and woman because
You're
we
going for it,
believe
Hector.
that
I'm
black
telling you,
lives do
Hector.
matter.
Right, absolutely, and that's why we need to get more people to pick up that 21st century policing, because that's how we're gonna wean everybody out. If we
No,
don't-
well, look,
right.
no, look. We can stop police criminality. I don't call it brutality. I call it criminality. We can stop it overnight.
By
Just
putting
start
people in jail.
firing. Just start firing bad cops.
and throwing them in jail.
I've been in corrections for 27 years. I know the ones that's not supposed to be there.
Right.
We all know
I
the
hear
ones
you.
that shouldn't be.
Oh, man,
I don't care if you
Damon,
work
I
at
know all the
IBM,
bodies- I know
whatever
all the
company
bodies
you
are
know.
buried too.
The employee.
Wait.
No,
What was the story we just did about the woman who stopped the guy from being abusing somebody else and she got fired?
Right, but the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is we it's human nature. The police department is a reflection
right.
of
And that's why I feel like
of society.
2
We
years
know.
ago, I used to fight the police department. 2 years, I started the Stop and Shake because I used to fight the police department. I hated
Yes,
police officers.
I'm a
right?
testament
But then
to that.
2 years later, I realized that
No, they're-
I'm tired of fighting police. We got to fight the structure. Because
Right.
we could fight police all day and
it's
keep
not-
telling our kids. If we keep telling our kids to hate
Listen,
the police and go against them,
we always say-
we're not going to have
we-
no more of us
no,
in the
no,
police
we-
department.
we
We have to
always say-
encourage our kids to become
Yeah,
officers.
see,
Absolutely.
watch that too.
Because then, look,
no,
if
no,
your
no.
kid
I'm not
becomes an
saying.
officer
No,
and
no.
falls into the
I'm
system,
not saying.
that's because
but
of your
you're not,
teaching.
But you're not understanding.
Right. We
It's
have
not
to-
about. It's not about. And what we say, it's not about just having an officer of color. You have to have an officer of conscience.
No, that's
so
what I'm
that's
saying.
the
So if-
difference.
if-
You can
man.
put
So
black
that's
cops
right.
on the job,
Right.
and
No.
they'll beat you. They'll beat you.
Yeah,
You
because
in there harder
some
than
black
the
cops
white
show
ones.
out for the white
Let's
cops.
just be honest.
Yes,
That's
that,
what-
that is correct.
This is what I'm saying.
That is
Listen, I'm like
correct.
Detective Clark, right? From
And
Mount
Latinos
Vernon.
go against
Detective
Latinos
Clark
too.
from
Don't
Mount
forget
Vernon
that,
is a
because
great
that hadn't
officer.
happened to me.
Absolutely.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
We
He's
all
an
know Clark.
amazing officer.
No, he's a good one.
Right.
He's a good one.
that's
But for
because he
him,
can't-
there's
he's
about a couple
identifiable.
of a couple of black ones they shouldn't be.
Absolutely,
they
and he's
shouldn't-
right.
I'm gonna be
No,
real.
he-
I don't
no,
care
he's
what color
right.
they are. They shouldn't be
he's
cops. They shouldn't be.
But look, it's because he's
with that, we
With that
come.
note,
We
we
come.
out.
You last
a
thing.
great-
last
Listen,
words,
I
last
want to
words,
thank
last words.
everybody
God
for
bless
coming.
everybody.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you. I want to thank everybody that came on the show today, and we'll continue because we have to elections coming up, and we got to talk about Black Power and
Absolutely.
in Westchester County. And
Anytime,
When
brother.
we started Black Westchester, People Before Politics, conversations like this is what we had in mind. Like everybody else, y'all could be doing anything else. Oh, don't forget next week we're having our first
Senate.
debate for the senator candidates. All 5 candidates will be here. We will be grilling them and asking them all the tough questions and find out what they're about. And they're probably going to get questions they're never going to get from nobody else. But you're going to see it here right now. And it will be live. Also, y'all been doing. You can do anything else, but you decide to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate it. Until next week, I'm gonna leave you with the words of Leonard Jeffries.
Amen.
But she kept the family together. That's Pan-Africanism. That granddaddy who made a way out of no way and putting something on the table, taking care of kids that weren't even his own. But that's a deep African tradition. You take care of the women and the children, no matter what. That's the priority. So let's think back not only on Malcolm and Garvey and Harriet Tubman, but even our own ancestors who brought us this far. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Now, don't sit yet. Don't sit yet. But I ain't going to let them yet, Mary. Hold on. Let's raise up a triumvirate of Garvey, who's related to Malcolm, of Nkrumah, who's related to Sekou Touré, of Lumumba. Let's raise up a triumvirate. And the women that produced them. And let me show off a little bit and let you know what Sekou Touré is telling me now, to let you know. Nous préférons la misère dans la liberté à l'opulence dans l'esclavage. That was the theme of the Guinea Revolution and the Guinea's people movement. We prefer slavery and the misery of slavery in freedom than richness and wealth and opulence. The Guinea youth, the Guinea adults, the Guinea traditional leaders, the Guinea new political leaders, the Guinea Marxist-Leninists, the Guinea Pan-Africanists, that was what they had speaking to their hearts when they got together to move the Guinea Revolution. And the French said, we're going to destroy your butt because you have nerve enough to even be independent of us. And they brought Guinea to its knees, took out the phone booths, the high school degree. They took out toilet paper to bring Guinea to its knees in 1958 when they said, no, we don't want to be a part of your union. However, other conscious Africans like Nkrumah and the people of Ghana said, we stand with you in the Guinea Revolution, and we're going to take the cocoa money and the gold from Ghana's resources, and we're going to pass it on to the Guinea Revolution to the tune of 50 million pounds. At that time would have been $500 million. And that saved the Guinea Revolution. That brotherhood love of the peoples of Guinea and the peoples of Ghana is why we're standing here now.
You will not be able
but
to stay home,
system
brother.
Of domination, destruction, and that.
You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash.